Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with a brand new speed build, this time doing a kind of larger style suburban home. So this particular kind of home is one of my favourite styles to do, and it's what I do quite a lot on my channel, but it's definitely kind of like my go-to style when I just want to build something that I really enjoy building. So this is Springview Crescent. It's a 4-bed, 3-bathroom build set on a 40 by 30 lot in Willow Creek, and it comes in at just less than 242,000 simoleons. So it's not a cheap house, it's not using restricted packs, it wasn't done to a budget or anything like that. It's just literally me free building a large kind of family home. So one of my favourite styles of houses is kind of like this L-shaped house. Now I never actually realised how much I do actually like this style until I built the very first one that I built, and I just kind of like it because it's a little bit of a different shape than, you know, an ordinary, you know, box shaped house if you like, and I just really kind of like this particular style. So I really wanted to build up in Willow Creek on the 40 by 30 lot there. Absolutely, many moons ago it was one of my go-to favourite lots to build on, and then when we had, I think, the release of Seasons, we had a lot of lighting issues with it, so I ended up building over in Brindleton Bay a lot. So I'm back over in Willow Creek now, which is I've got to admit, is one of my absolute favourite worlds. I think I've said this before, but I do really love Willow Creek. I just think the scenery and everything is just so pretty and so beautiful, so this house fits in perfect for, you know, its environment. So as some of you know, I haven't been very well just recently, and I'm still not 100% either. I'm starting to think that this is kind of like my new voice. This is what I'm going to sound like forever, because I just feel like I've had this kind of really bad throat for some time now, and yes, I've still not been to the doctors. I'm completely rubbish, but it's just kind of finding the time, because my son's currently doing his mock exams at school, which is kind of a big thing. He's in his second to final year in high school, so he's been doing lots and lots of revision, and we've been kind of helping him out, and you know, we've had lots and lots of stuff going on, so I've not been too good, so I apologise again for my voice, but I did take a little bit of time when I came to build this house, because it's kind of nice when I feel a little bit more relaxed about building and I can spend a little bit more time thinking about what I want to build and how I want to build it, and just adding in lots and lots of little details, because it's the details in builds that I really love, and that's what I love the most. I always find that if I really love another simmer's work, it tends to be simmers that put a lot of attention to detail into the builds, because I think it's those little things that really make a big difference. So it was really nice just to take my time to think about how I wanted this build to look and just really focus on the little details as well. So this particular house wasn't done to any particular style, it was just literally using lots and lots of the new windows, and I love new windows. It's got to be one of my most favourite things that I love getting in a new expansion or a new pack is new windows and doors, because it does make such a difference to a house, and yeah, I just get really excited about them. So I really love these new ones. I must admit, and I've said it before, that with each and every expansion pack that's come out recently, I'm really impressed with the windows and doors, because they keep releasing sets, which really helps us builders, you know, to come up with something new and fresh. So ordinarily in a build like this, I would go ahead and add in a pool around the back, but I did decide to kind of section up the back of the garden area and just kind of make a really nice garden space and seating area and a little bit of a play area as well. So it is meant to be kind of like a really nice big family home, just nothing too fancy, or well, I wouldn't say too fancy, but kind of just a very nice grand family home. So I hope everybody's really well. I did manage to read a few comments from the last video, but I do apologise because I'm really slacking in the comments area at the moment, but life's just been so busy and it's quite difficult really to find the time to juggle between, you know, a toddler and 3 other children that are all doing multiple activities and exams and things like that. So life, like my personal life, has really taken up a lot of time at the moment. But I'm hoping to get in some new videos and get some new content out a bit more of kind of like a regular basis. So in the outside of this build, there isn't really anything particularly fancy. There is activities and skill building items, but I didn't really have any plans for this particular back garden. Like I say, initially I was going to put a pool in, and then I decided to divide it up. But overall, it's quite a simple space, but there is plenty of space. What I do like about it is there is plenty of space to add in other activities and skill building items that you wanted to. You know, if you wanted to put a telescope in there, you'd have the room, or if you did want to add in a pool, you could do that. There's quite a bit of space, really. But I did manage to go ahead and add in a barbecue area as well as this swing set, and we've got the basketball hoop that's just going in, and then down the side of the house I managed to put some planters as well as a flower arranging table, and there's actually loads and loads of room for planters down the side of the house. I think I only placed 4, but the side of the house is actually huge. It's a big space, so there's plenty of room to put other things down there as well. At the front was just very simple. Obviously there's not a lot of room at the front of the house because I placed the house quite close to the front of the lot, and obviously we've got this kind of like fake garage area at the front, so I just sized up one of the toy cars and kind of placed it on an angle to, you know, give that illusionary effect that there may be a car with a garage, which we all know probably won't ever happen in The Sims 4. But yeah, the main concentration was obviously along the back of the house where it was added in the seating areas and just those little details to the flower beds as well as all the shading with the grass. I do really love doing landscaping. It is one of my favourite things. I think if I could pick one of the favourite things that I love doing the most in The Sims, it would be building the outside of the house, like literally the shape of the house, the windows and wallpapers, and then it would be the landscaping as well. Like if I could just do the outside of houses, that would just be perfect. But yeah, so I'm just finishing off now, but it is very simple, but I did feel like it was quite a sweet space as well. Also, the design on the back of the house is rather bizarre. I don't even know what I was thinking when I designed that back bit, but there's kind of like this sort of low wall around the top with a bush, and some of the, I think it's the windows from Jungle Adventure that are lined across the top, but it's completely made up, and I just felt like it looked nice at the time. So yeah, rather a strange design at the back of the house. But I'm just moving on to the interior and I'm working on the kitchen at the minute. Now the inside of the house, I'd say, is probably typical Kim, which is quite neutral, a lot of sort of light colours really downstairs. I'd say it was a very typical sort of Kim interior in the downstairs area. I always seem to do the downstairs area fairly neutral and light and bright. Occasionally I'll do darker colours as well, but I tend to personalise the bedrooms a lot more with lots of colour. Now, I see a lot of wish lists floating about of what people wish that they could have, and I've got a new wish. Basically, when I came to do the interior of this house, as much as I loved it and I loved using all of the new windows, one of the main problems I have is the curtains. Picking curtains for windows in The Sims 4 is such a pain because certain curtains only go with certain windows, and then there are other curtains that will go with certain windows if you size them up or size them down, and it just isn't a very straightforward process. I just wish there was like a huge, you know, like a set of curtains that were just nice and simple that fit the windows but came in like 30 different swatches. Like, I would just be so happy with that. So if I could have anything added amongst kind of, I think staircases is the big one for me, just some sort of spiral staircase or L-shaped staircase or just anything, you know, would be great. But curtains as well just drive me up the wall. So yeah, that was one of my only peeves with using the new window. But initially with that kitchen area, I made it into kind of like a kitchen and diner, and later on I moved the dining set, which you'll see because I recorded it, and I moved it over into its separate own dining room and kind of made a bar area instead, which worked well in the end. It kind of looked in proportion, because I always try and make my kitchens in proportion to the house size. So if I was building like a 4 to 5 bedroom house, I wouldn't have just like a tiny kitchen. I felt like the kitchen felt a bit too small for the size of the house. But I must admit, the downstairs is a lot bigger in this house. You'll see on the floor plans at the end of the video as well that it's a lot bigger than the upstairs area, so it kind of is in proportion in the end. But I think the only thing that I didn't include in this build is the bathrooms, and I really wish that I did, but it was one of those situations where I did it off camera, because sometimes I'll have the Sims running in the day and I'll try and do little bits here and there depending on what my toddler's up to. I'll try and kind of sneak on and do a couple of quick bits that, you know, like the sort of landing areas and the hallways. I always kind of work on those during the daytime whenever I can, but occasionally I'll go ahead and do the bathrooms as well, just to kind of give myself a bit of extra time, or, you know, to get the video out faster. But I really loved the bathrooms in this house. They were some of my favorites that I've done, so I did include a screenshot at the end which you'll be able to see. But yes, they were one of my favorites. I'm also getting a little bit bored with the kind of sofa situation. I wish we were able to have, I feel like I think everybody's the same though, you're always wanting more, and we do get given a lot, and we've obviously got a hell of a lot of content in The Sims up to date, you know, to this point, but I wish that we had a lot more swatches with items. Like, I like this particular sofa set, but there's literally only a couple of swatches of it which I actually like, and I just think it would be so much nicer to have lots and lots of different swatches to play around with. So not necessarily just new items, but just more colours to play with. So this is around the point where I changed over the dining table and I moved it into this end room here, and I quite like this as well. It was just a really nice sized dining room. It's probably a perfect size really, and yeah, I just like the way that it looked. I like the colours that I used. It just felt very kind of cosy, which you don't really associate with the colour blue. But once I did in the yellow wallpaper, I just liked it, kind of warmed it up a little bit and just felt a lot more kind of cosy. So in the downstairs of this build, we've got a kitchen slash bar area, we've got a dining room, a computer room, as well as 2 reception rooms, one of them which I didn't actually film, and also a huge gym. I decided to kind of change the fake garage into a gym area, which I either make it into kind of a big junk room or I'll make it into a functioning room, and usually it ends up being the gym. So that's what I went ahead and did. I do find that quite a lot of the careers, sometimes when I come to play, I always end up needing to kind of work on fitness, whether it's just because it's something to do with the career where I need a fitness level, or whether it's because I've just had a baby and I've piled a load of weight on. I end up needing some sort of gym equipment, so I think a gym's a really handy room to have in a house. Obviously, if your Sims are at the stage where they can afford it, because this is not a cheap house. But then again, saying that, I don't think it would take much to kind of, it would take time, but it's not unreachable to obtain the amount of money that this house costs. So one of the other rooms that I didn't include in this build was the second reception room, which was literally just a kid's family room. It almost looks like a kid's sort of, it's just a big kids playroom, and it's got kind of like a sofa and a TV and lots of kids activities and skill building items and play items. It is actually just on the side of this gym as well, but I've included a screenshot at the end, but it was just it was a small space really, but I wanted it, because it was a big family home, to have its own little room where the kids could just go and chill out after school and do their homework and just work on their skills. And yeah. So this is actually the final room that I'm working on downstairs, and it is the gym, and I really love this gym. I mean, it's not perfect because it does have this kind of fake garage door, but I just really love the way that it looked. And I do forget that we've got things like the jacuzzi and, you know, the big hot tubs, and I must make a build that kind of features them a little bit more, because I do think they're really fantastic items. The same with all the kind of yoga type stuff, the meditation type stuff. I don't tend to include that a lot, but I really love that space, so I'm going to look at doing a build with those items a little bit more in the future. So I'm just moving on to the master bedroom. Now, as you can see, as I'm doing this, I will explain this because it was a bit irritating when I came to furnish it, but the roof is slightly cut in at the top, but when you're in live mode, you don't actually see it, which is quite handy. And I don't know whether that's a new thing, and actually just thinking about it, I need to test that. But obviously you can see the roof when I'm in build mode, but when I went into live mode, I was able to drop the walls down and it disappeared. So I'm not really sure what that's all about. It is irritating because I think there's quite a lot of styles of build which I would love to build if we didn't have the roof cutting in issues. I really wish that was a fix, but obviously it must be too bigger an issue to work around it. Otherwise they would have definitely fixed it by now. But yeah, so upstairs we've got 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. One of them is actually an ensuite to the master bedroom as well. All the bathrooms are done in the same style too, you know, using the same kind of wallpapers, the same suites. They're just done in different styles depending on the size of the room. So upstairs we've got a master bedroom with an ensuite bathroom. We've also got a kind of grown-up teen girly room. We've got a single boys bedroom, and we've also got a single girls toddler bedroom, which I was initially going to make into a twin room, but when I was kind of furnishing it, it made sense just to make it into a single room. I think it worked out that it was just easier than trying to do the twin room. So yeah, there's plenty of space in this house to actually add more beds in it if you wanted more beds, you know, say you did want to have a twin bedroom. The master bedroom is certainly a huge room. I'm pretty sure you could even make that into 2 bedrooms if you wanted to. It was just literally the way that I did the floor plan. But yeah, the upstairs is a lot smaller than the downstairs, but the rooms are all really, really good sizes as well. And I know I say this all the time, but I do actually really love doing the kids' rooms. It's one of my favourites. And I think going back to the amount of swatch colours we have for certain items, I think that's probably one of the reasons why. Is because with the kids' furniture, there is that many swatches that I actually like, that it makes it more pleasurable to kind of create those bedrooms, if that makes sense. Like if they put the amount of effort that they put into rugs, into the curtains in The Sims 4, then we'd be winning, because there must be like a million rugs in The Sims 4 at this point. There's absolutely loads, and I'm not complaining because it's fantastic to have the options, but I do wish we could have some new curtains that were just a little bit more flexible. I also went ahead and added in some items for pets as well. I think there's possibly, I'm not sure if there's a pet bowl actually, thinking on. But I know there's a pet bed, there's a scratching post as well. I always end up putting, when I'm not using restricted packs, I always put in something for the pets or something for the toddlers. You know, I kind of try to cater for everybody and everything. But I know we've got, I think it's a hamster's cage in the boys' bedroom possibly as well. But I did actually really like this particular girl's bedroom. I felt like it had some good grown-up elements in the room, as well as still relating back to, you know, a little bit of a younger age with teddy bears and wall decals and things like that. But I'm just working on the last bedroom, which is the single toddler bedroom, and I love the colours in this as well. I feel like this house is a really nice, light, bright, happy house. You know, that's the kind of feeling I get from it. But I really hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you're all really well as well. If you have enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, it would be awesome to have you on board. This house will be available to download now on the Sims 4 gallery under #SimKim or Origin ID SimKim Builds. But in the meantime, I hope you have a fantastic week, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care, bye!
They all twist and turn. Ooh.